Today we are checking out the Adoretrip jump starter built-in air compressor. It's 2500 amps. This is how it comes from Amazon. Let's open it up, check it out. We got some notes and some instructions, which I probably won't read, but they are here if I need them. Here's the air compressor jump starter unit itself, packed very safely in a bubble wrap case. And we've got a carrying case. This has everything in it that we need for jump starting a car. Putting air in a tire, charging it from your car, charging it from a wall. It also came with an envelope filled with adapters so you can inflate items other than tires. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get this thing charged to 100%. Looks like we're at 75% already, so it shouldn't take too long. And I promise I won't keep this camera rolling the whole time it's charging. But let me point out a couple things. You do have two USB ports here, so you can charge your USB devices. The blue one is a higher amperage output, so it'll charge faster. On the bottom, we find our built-in air compressor hose. This is the main power button here to turn the unit on and to operate the lights. This switch here is not the main power button, it's actually the on-off for the air compressor. Once you turn the unit on, you can operate the air compressor with this switch here. Here are your LED flashlights, and this is the starter port. This is where you plug in your jump starting cables. And I'll be back when we get to 100%. This tire definitely looks a little low, so why don't we try this thing out? Put some air in here. Yep, that barely moved. We're at 100%. Unplug our charging. Just going to connect the two hoses. Quick note that while the air compressor is running on this, it will get a little warm. If it goes over 300 degrees, it will shut itself down and wait until it gets back to about 200 degrees before it will turn itself back on. Just gonna stick that on and put a clip down. As I mentioned previously, this is not gonna do anything until you hit that button. You'll see we're at 100%. We appear to have about 10 pounds of pressure on here, and this defaults to 40. We're going to knock this back down to 32. And then we're going to hit the switch. There it is. Took about 3.5 minutes to go from about 10 psi to about 32. See how accurate it is. I'd say that's pretty accurate. As previously mentioned, this does heat up. This is very warm right now. After running that for 3.5 minutes, it still says 100%. And that's because it actually could be anywhere between 75 and 100%. This thing only counts in multiples of 25. So 25, 50, 75, and 100. I suspect we're closer to 75 than 100. So now you need to jumpstart your car, right? So we're going to take the jumper cables that are provided here, plug it into the port on the side. We're going to make sure that we're either at 50, 75, or 100. Do not try and jumpstart your car at 25. That won't work. Go ahead and charge it up. Okay, disclaimer time. I'm going to attempt to jumpstart this Cadillac with the Adoretrip jump starter. Now, I'm not really trying to get the Cadillac running. That's not the goal here. The goal here is to see how long this thing will crank, whether or not it can kick over a 500 cubic inch Cadillac motor. That's what I'm trying to do. Not really trying to start it, just trying to crank it, and we're going to see if this 2500 amp jump starter can do it. I think it probably can, but we're going to find out. Once I hook it up, I'm just going to let the camera roll, and the footage you're going to see is going to be unedited, just raw footage. So if there's any issues with the jump starter, you'll see it in real time. We've got a battery hooked up. And nothing happens with our key. See, battery still hooked up, nothing happening. Completely dead battery. Now this does not need to be turned on. Now this unit does not need to be turned on. Once you connect it to the battery, it'll be ready to go. Positive to positive. negative to negative, and as long as these connections are good, it should crank. Got a radio on. Let's see what happens. All right, it's doing exactly what I expected it to do. It is cranking it as best as it can. It's cranking it as best as it can, which is pretty darn good. This is a 500 cubic inch motor. This is the edge of the limits for that jump starter. It's doing a fine job. Oh yeah. Wow. So after it sat on there and got a little bit of a charge, this thing might actually start. Let me try and give it some gas. If it's got any gas. Call me impressed. I'm really kind of shocked. We're down to 50%. That's not bad. That was a lot of cranking. Not sure what else I can tell you about this Adoretrip 2500 amp starter. It works. At any rate, like, subscribe, comment. This thing worked great. I'll see you all down the road.